Imagine you've been invited to a birthday dinner and you've been bashed the whole evening by women who have children because you are child-free by choice. That's exactly what happened to me last week, and I've made a video about it, and it got viral just like in a couple of days, and I've got so much support from other people. Like, imagine you go to have fun and celebrate a birthday of someone you know, and instead of having fun, you have to justify why you decided to stay child-free for people you see for the first time in your life. Not only these women focused on being in labor and raising kids for the whole evening, they also criticize you for not wanting kids. They also tell you that you have a trauma, that's why you are child-free. And without even knowing me, they told me in my face that something is wrong with me. I really didn't think it could happen in 2025, but here we are, it's still happening.
Contrary to the popular belief of many mothers, not all mothers, so if it's not you, if it don't apply, let it fly. I'm not talking to you, okay? Don't get in my comment sections, okay? Child-free women don't hate mothers. There's this misconception that child-free women hate y'all, that we are hating on y'all, that we are bullying you guys because you chose to have kids, that you are living a fulfilled life and we're just jealous because we don't have the fulfilled life. And I'm here to tell you, first things first, if there's anybody on the planet who hates y'all, it's y'all's baby daddy, okay? The man who you got pregnant by, your husband, right? My man, your baby daddy, the man who you either lay next to every night or laid next to every night. That's the mofo who hates you 10 times out of 10, okay? It's not us. It's not child-free women. And we're not hating on you because we literally have done and are still doing everything we can to not end up in your situation, i.e. birth control. I've been on birth control since I was 15 years old, way before I was even sexually active. I knew eventually, though, that I was going to drop it low and lay it wide. And I knew that once I did that, I didn't want the consequences of enjoying sex, aka having a baby. So I was on birth control, and I believed in using condoms as well my entire adult life. There are women who have had terminations, myself included, to avoid being in your situation. Either a single mother, a married single mother, or a divorced single mother. Okay? There are plenty of child-free women who have had their tubes tied, who have gotten hysterectomies, who have gotten ablations and all sorts of stuff to avoid being in your situation. And it's not to shame you for being in that situation. It's just saying, I don't want that life. If you have children, I am automatically not envious of you. I ain't never been envious of any woman in my life. I've never had a reason to be. I've had plenty of women who are envious of me, though. But in my whole life, I've never come across a woman who I was like, damn, I want to be her. Damn sure not a mother. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying I don't want that life. I know the stress that comes with being a mother. I don't want that. Any more than I would be jealous of a person who snorts snow, right? Or who smokes the pipe. You know what I'm saying? Any more than that. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be a smug addict because I see what it does. I see what it does to your skin, your organs, your overall health, your brain deteriorates. Why do I want to be a smug addict, right? I feel the exact same way about being a mom. And I'm not saying a mom is like a smug addict, but what I'm saying is those are two things that I have actively avoided in my whole life because I knew that those two things would be life ruining for me. I never did smugs. I've never tried it. I've never tried tweeds, cigarettes, nothing. And I'm not trying to be funny. I feel like I'm too pretty to do those things. I'm sorry, but like I'm too pretty to be a smug addict. And I also feel like my life is too free. I am too like in my own bubble to be a mother. So I want you to know that if anybody hates you, it's your own baby daddy, the man you chose to knock your knock you up, to shoot your club up, right? That's the if there's anybody on this planet who literally wants to pew you in the head or machete you to death, I promise you, it's your baby daddy, not child-free women.
Not all mothers are jealous of women without kids, but some are. And they're jealous because they do not have support. They do not have the freedom to get out the house and do the things that they would want to do. And seeing women without kids have fun, travel, live life, party, it triggers them. Me, I'm on the other side of the coin. I have a lot of support. Family who is willing to watch my son whenever, a father who watches his son whenever. Like, so, but not everybody has that. And this is why you have to be careful, like, when you have kids, who you have kids with. And you have to make sure that your life allows that. Some people put themselves in these positions to where they will never be free from their kids, and that affects you in some crazy type of way. Like, literally, I said it before and I'll say it again. These kids just do anything, and you need to free yourself sometimes. These kids don't care what you're going through. You have to be there for them, and not everybody can handle that. So before you have kids and become triggered by what women do that don't have kids, think about your life and think about if you want to be stuck with a kid forever. Forever. They're never going away, okay?
Y'all can accuse child-free women of being mentally ill all you want to, but nothing is more mentally ill than having children you can't afford. Or having children just because somebody else told you to. Or having children because you don't want to be too old. You don't want to be an old mother. Or you don't want to be left out of the mommy club. Or you don't want to be left out in general because you don't want people to treat you different just because you don't have children. Bro, I promise you that your people are out there. Your people are out there. You don't have to pop out a fucking kid in order to have friends. And yes, people will ostracize you. People will ostracize you. They will purposely leave you out. Who gives a fuck about them? Because do you really want to be around people who leave you out like that? I have lost friends over being child free, and I'm still here. I've had people stop talking to me because I said no to babysitting their children. And I'm still here, bitch. That's what happens when you are true to yourself and you don't let other people change who you are. And I'm not just talking about being child-free. I don't mind paying the price of being, called weird or ostracized or left out or whatever the fuck y'all want to call it. Bitch, I'm at the point now where my own family can cut me out and ostracize me and do whatever the fuck they want just because I don't have kids or want them. Do whatever you want. I'm not losing any sleep.
Does anyone ever notice how women that have no children try to push it on people that, like, it's almost like they're overcompensating. It's almost like they're trying to convince themselves that their life is so good because they don't have kids. And we, mothers, must be living a hard, stress-filled life. And, like, let me tell you, motherhood is stressful. It is definitely a lot of work, but the last time I checked, I wanted this life. And this doesn't go for all women that don't have children, but I just see it a lot on this app. I'll see it in conversations, in comment sections, where people are like, this is why I don't have kids or a man. Because you can still live a very stressed out life with no children. And in fact, a lot of people that I know that have no kids are living the hardest lives. Don't knock a family because it's just not what you want. I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense, because I see that a lot on this app. I see a lot of women knocking mothers for having kids, and it's like, oh, I can never do that. So then fucking don't.
We have to start understanding the difference between being child free and actually having kids. I think some people misconstrue the section and they take it as just what they want, because we're all trying to get to what we need to get. Mothers, child free, whatever it is. So I feel like it shouldn't be about one side being shamed for nothing, because we all should be trying to get it together if you have kids or not. What I feel like it is mothers with kids, they see a lot differently because they're having to grind harder for the children. They're having different motherly issues, motherly feelings. That's understandable. But as someone like me that loves being child free and loves not having just to wake up and hear mommy, but I can wake up and do what I have to do, that's better, you know. And I feel like neither should be ashamed for any of it, if you have a kid or if you don't have a kid, because guess what, we're all human and we're all trying to do what we got to do. But where are my children free ladies at? 20s, 30s, 40s, where y'all at? Because I know I'm not the only one that doesn't have kids on here. But y'all, let me know in the comments.
I don't think we talk enough about how often mothers are jealous of their daughters, and that is a thing, and it is really unfortunate to experience as the daughter. The reality is sometimes mothers birth the inverse of their insecurities, where they will literally birth the version of themselves they wish they could be. And I'm sure that has to be a very hard thing to experience. You've gone your whole life with these insecurities just to give birth to somebody who doesn't have that or has the very things that you've been longing for within yourself. That has to be really hard to watch and to raise. However, it is your responsibility as the parent to work that shit out in therapy. I digress. I feel like Kendra had to raise somebody that she wished she could be. I think that Kendra watching Lauren grow up and become a young woman really riled up emotions within Kendra and her inadequacies and her own insecurities that she did not handle well at all.
You know what I can't stand? When you tell someone that you don't want children, or at least at this point in your life you don't want them, and they say that you're selfish. But then when you ask them why they want children, they say nothing but selfish reasons as to why they want children. Well, I need someone to take care of me when I get older. I want a mini-me. I want a best friend. Or my favorite, I want to leave a legacy behind. Is it just me, or do y'all not see how every single one of those reasons is self-centered? It's egocentric. So you mean to tell me you're bringing a whole life into this world because you want a best friend? Sis, go join a club. You want someone to take care of you when you get older? Do you know how many people on this earth have had children and the children do not visit them or care about them when they get older? They get sent to a nursing home. Like, y'all kill me with, oh, you're so selfish. Honestly, with the way that this world is, I think it's quite selfless to choose to not bring a life into this somewhat of a hellhole. I'll just say that. But whatever helps you sleep at night.
You know, how can one be selfish towards someone who is non-existent? It makes absolutely no sense. But since we on this topic, you know what else don't make sense to me? How majority of folks be having kids out of boredom. They got nothing else better to do. So they say, hey, might as well make a baby. It's the next step in adulthood. Haven't even healed their own inner child and got the audacity to make a baby. So they need a kid to add meaning in this life for them because they have lost meaning. They need a kid for motivation because they have lacked the inner inspiration within. They need a kid for structure, discipline, and self-control because they have none for themselves. So when you use a kid as the center of your own adulthood to raise you up, you then dish out so much projection onto that pole. Baby, you needed a kid for your validation. You needed a kid for your happiness. You needed a kid to raise you up to be an adult, to be a better man, to be a better woman, because you couldn't be a better person for yourself. You love to say kids are the biggest blessings, but please don't forget they are the biggest distractions for those that choose to avoid themselves, who cannot sit in silence. So they need a kid to bring a whole bunch of chaos. bring a whole bunch of overstimulation, a whole bunch of noise to distract them from doing the internal and inner work that we all must do. So you use a kid as a project to be someone that you're not, because you couldn't do that for yourself. So you needed the help from a baby. But who's really selfish?
I'm starting to think that some of you really young girls only keep having kids so you can hear congratulations again, and you can get the attention for like a few months before it wears off and everybody forgets again. But that's okay, because you can always get pregnant again. I'm not even joking. I've seen a few women make videos on this saying what I just said, and actually I think it's dead ass true. Like, we all went to high school with girls that, you know, were like very mean, very into like social status, and like we're always bullying people and putting people down, and then once, you know, the little sphere of high school is over, like they notice they have nothing going for them, so they're like, oh shit, what can I do for attention? Fuck, like I don't have any personal qualities, I don't have any intelligence. I know, light bulb, eureka, I can just pop out a kid. Like, seriously, I think that's what some of you guys are doing. You can totally paint me as a bitter feminist if you want. I don't care. I will wear that label proudly. I don't give a fuck. So, yeah.